Hey guys, welcome back to Highlight Reel, and today is actually the first video where I'm showing my voice. On this channel, as you guys can see, it's mostly about sports. Well, it's all about sports, but it's about clips and history of the sports and comparing and montages and stuff. And I hope you guys enjoy this channel, but let's get right into this video. But as you guys can see by the title, the video is who's a better quarterback from now and for the future? Dak Prescott versus Carson Wentz. As you guys know, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm going to try to be not biased at all. But let's start off with their rookie years. Okay, so for Dak Prescott's rookie year, as you guys know, he led the team behind Romo's injury. So he went 13-3 and lost in the playoffs, guys. But his stats were he played 16 games. His completion percentage was 67.8. His yards was 3,667. The average was 8 yards. His touchdowns was a really good ratio. Touchdowns to interceptions was 23-4. But now let's go look at Wentz's. Okay, so for Carson Wentz, it looked like he struggled a lot more than Dak, which is pretty obvious. But in 2016, he played the same amount of games. He had 379 completions. His percentage was 62.4. His average was 6.2, and his yards were 3,782. His touchdown to interception ratio was 16-14. So obviously, the first year was better for Dak. For the second year, we're gonna start with the Eagles quarterback, Carson Wentz. He played 13 games. This is his best season, no doubt about it, hands down. He got injured in week 13 against the Los Angeles Rams, going for a touchdown. His completion percentage is 60.2, which is a little bit down. His yards are 3,296. His average was 7.5 yards. His touchdown interception ratio was amazing. It was 33-7. And let's go over to Dak's. So in 2017 for Dak, Wentz had a advantage. He did better overall. Dak played 16 games, 3 more than Wentz. His completion percentage was 62.9. His yards was 3,324, and his average was 6.8 yards. The touchdown and interception ratio got worse. It was 22-13. That was kind of a down year for Dak, and that's when he started getting hate. In 2017, Wentz led the Eagles to 13-3, and the rest is history. Starting with the Philly special when Nick Foles led the team to win the Super Bowl against the Patriots. The Cowboys were unfortunately eliminated by the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But let's go to 2018, starting with the Dallas QB. The QB in Dallas, Dak Prescott, in 2013, had the same type of year with 22 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. His completion percentage was 67.7, which is up from the previous year. His yards are 3,885, and as I said, the ratio was 22-8. Let's go to Wentz. For Carson Wentz, he had the completion percentage of 69.6, was way up from the previous year. His yards was 3,074. His touchdown interception ratio was 21-7. And overall, this year, or in 2018, I give the edge to Wentz. In 2018, previously from the last year when they went to the Super Bowl, Carson Wentz got injured again, which caused a down year. So, as you guys can see, he's exposed to be injury prone, but he was still considered better than Dak Prescott. Although the stats do not show it, so far, Wentz has been getting hated on. He has 1 touchdown pass in the fourth quarter, which is tied for the worst in the NFL. 33rd worst completion percentage in the fourth quarter, all in the fourth quarters. 37th worst QB rating, 0 comebacks, and only 1 game-winning drive. 2 interceptions is most out of any QB. And last touchdown pass of the fourth quarter was September 22nd. But of course, you can't blame this all on Wentz. The Eagles receivers They're last in yards, 31st in catches, 31st in yards and catches, and last in 633 yards in the last 8 games. Unlike Wentz, Dak is actually top in a few of those categories, for the fourth quarter. Dak is leading the Dallas Cowboys, in which they have the number 1 offense in the NFL, to maybe a potential playoff run, as the Eagles fall to 5-6 in Week 12. But the stats for this year. Through 11 games for this year, Wentz has a completion percentage of 62.6, yards 2,530, average of 6.5, and the touchdown-interception ratio was 17-6, which is nothing special, but nothing horrible. But let's go to the Dallas Cowboys quarterback in 2019, Dak Prescott. Through 11 games, his completion percentage is 66.8, 3,433 yards, average is 8.6, touchdowns to interception ratio is 21-10. Dak Prescott is having a career year. Through 11 games, he's almost beaten the totals of the 2018, 2017, and 2016 season through 16 games in every season. He is having an MVP-like season, obviously in the MVP conversation. Even though the interceptions may be high, the rest of the stats are really good. No excuses made, but the interceptions, 6 of those are either off of tip passes or Hail Marys. But for the future, you could use the excuse that Dak has a better team, offensive line, and wide receiving core, but you can't, because Wentz has Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, and Jason Peters, Kelsey, and Lane Johnson, 3 All-Pros on the offensive line, while Dallas has Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Randall Cobb, which has 3 All-Pros on the offensive line as well. Also, I forgot, for the Philadelphia Eagles, they also have Zach Ertz, which is a very good tight end who leads the league in a lot of the categories for the position. So you can't really make that argument. For the future, based off of this year's stats and previous years before the stats, I would say Dak Prescott's a better quarterback from now and for the future. Sure, coming out of college, Wentz definitely had more talent than Dak, but Wentz proved to be injury-prone and inconsistent. Dak is always there for his team and plays through 16 games the past 3 seasons. As the 2019 season takes us places, we'll see how Dak and Wentz do, leading their teams to a playoff run. Thank you. Alright, to sum it up, in completions, Dak has 266, Wentz has 243, so Dak is winning. Attempts, Dak has 10 more attempts than Wentz, 398 to 388. Percentage is 66.8 and 62.6. Dak is leading in that. Yards is 3,433 over 2,530. Dak is leading in that. Yards over attempts is 8.6 to 6.5. Dak is leading in that. Touchdowns is 21-17, which is Dak is also leading in. Interceptions is 10-6. Dak is also leading in it. Dak has also been sacked 12 times, but Wentz has been sacked a whopping 28 times. For rushing, we're going to do Dak has 34 attempts, Wentz has 45, but although Wentz has more attempts, Dak has more yards. 197 to 188 yards per attempt. Dak's numbers is 5.8, Wentz is 4.2. The longest for Dak is 42, Wentz is 19. The 20-yarders is 1 for Dak and 0 for Wentz. And the touchdowns rushing is 3 for Dak and 1 for Wentz. So to sum it up, Dak is better than Wentz. And of course, if you guys would like to see more comparing videos between different players, let me know in the comment section down below. And hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching, everybody.